The last team in Serie A at the moment after Maggi 9 is Cagliari with only 3 points. Then you have Salernitana with 4, and the last one in that relegation zone, number 18, is Udinese with 6 points. And that's exactly the moment where you are telling to yourself, what is Beppe speaking about? We just beat Milan 1-0, we are at -2 of Inter, -1 of Milan, and on top of that, Saturday, if we beat Verona, we will be momentarily alone on top of Serie A, something that didn't happen since years, since the Sarri era. And Beppe is watching, looking at the relegation zone. What is he speaking about? You know that when I'm recording a video, I always try to organize it, to structure it, so that I'm able to tell you a story. A black and white story. Sharing Juventini time, there is always a purpose why I'm starting a video in a certain way. Well, this time it's no difference. There is an explanation why. Because we speak about Mercato, we speak about the big name that is linked to one of the three teams, and then another one. And probably I will already spoil it, because you will probably see the images on the thumbnail. But anyway, ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. First of all, maximum of like on today's video, because I know that you like when I'm speaking about Mercato, and there are starting to be some serious talks. Then, if you didn't yet, please continue to subscribe. And then 2 questions. The names that we will speak about, do you like them? 1. And 2, do you think it's possible? Yes or no? So, going back to the ranking, I spoke about not Cagliari, not Salernitana, but Udinese, the other bianconero team of Serie A. For a simple reason, because we will speak about Lazar Samardzic. And why? Because this morning, my eye fell on an article of calciomercato.com. Usually it's not the reference. It's not something that I'm reporting on here on the channel. Why? Because most of the time it's clickbait and I don't like to do it. But this morning I checked the name of the journalist that wrote that article, Nicola Balice, someone that is quite serious. I shared with him already a lot of lives on Juventus, someone that I know, someone that is not looking for fame or for glory, someone that is looking for doing his job in the best possible way. Does that mean that he's always right? No. But it's someone that is really working really hard. That's one. Secondly, because it's not the first time that he's speaking about Samardzic. He's going on it, all in. Because since a few weeks now, he's saying that the priority of Juve is Samardzic. Is it something that we believe in? Absolutely yes. We know about it. All the sources are speaking about Lazar as the first #1 target to reinforce the midfield after Pogba and Fagioli have both been banned, and we are having a big gap there in the midfield. But the title is going towards a real, concrete affirmation. It's not anymore what if, it could be, there is maybe the opportunity, if things are okay, then maybe Juve will think. No, the title is saying Juve Samardzic mai così vicini. Juve Samardzic never close as they are at the moment, never that close to go and be together. When I'm reading the article, what do we see? Because of course there is one problem, and we will speak about it. We'll go back to the first intro of the video. Well, Inter, Udinese, Inter, Samardzic collapsed. We know it. He did the medicals for Inter. It was okay, but then something happened and the deal totally collapsed. They will not go anymore for Samardzic. Samardzic entourage doesn't want to go anymore to Inter, so that's done. He played with Udinese. Udinese is in a really tough, difficult situation, but if there is a player that is doing well, it is the Serbian 21 years old player. Now, apparently, the entourage of Lazar Samardzic already found an agreement with Juventus. They already agreed on the salary, they already agreed on the length of the contract, they already agreed on the role that the player will play, and the importance of him in that new midfield, that he should play with Rabiot and Locatelli, so they agreed on everything, and that's a good one. They even agreed that they want to do it as fast as possible. And when it's as fast as possible, we are speaking about January, immediately in January. Now, we spoke about Samardzic in the last few days, that is the priority. Why? Because it's a technical player, because it's a young player, because his salary is sustainable, something that is super important for Juve, because he didn't reach yet a value of 50-60 million euro. So even if it's still an investment, because we are speaking about 20, 25, maybe even 30 million euro, There are some openings that Juventus wants to invest on the guy, because we're looking for someone with creativity, with technique, and someone that also already know and has experience in Serie A. So it's ticking all the boxes from Juve side. Juventus is ticking all the boxes from Samardzic side, but of course you have a third party that needs to agree. And at the moment we didn't find an agreement with. With who? With Udinese. We found an agreement on a lot of things. We found an agreement on giving him a loan already in January with a payment loan, because we pay him for 5 million euro immediately in cash to Udinese for a loan of 6 months, option to buy, and an obligation as well, because if you reach qualification in Champions League, you're obliged to sign the player for approx 15-80 million euros. So we are speaking in a total of, I told you, between 25 million euro, maybe a bit more. We even found a possible alternative, so inserting a player that we have, and we are speaking about Hans Nicolussi Caviglia, a player that, I tell you, I would be extremely sad that he never received his chance at Juve, because I believe in his skills. He did fantastically well in USA in the tour. I would be sad, but it's true that if we are speaking about Samardzic or Nicolussi, Samardzic had already proven in Serie A that he's a player that is fantastic, that can improve the midfield of Juve. About Nicolussi, yes, we saw him in the summer, but we are not sure about it. So it would be another young player that we are launching and to test to see what it is. At the moment, after the summer, after the first month of Serie A, Max Allegri is not giving him his chance. Why? I have no idea. Is it because he doesn't trust him? Is it because he feels that he's not ready? Is it because he thinks that he's a real regista and at the moment Locatelli is playing all the game because it's the player that played 9 games out of 9? I don't know. So what is the problem with Udinese at the moment? Well, the ranking. And that's why we are going back to the beginning of the video. If Udinese in January are still in that difficult position of being 18th, 19th, maybe even 20th, forget about it, because they will never loan out their best player going directly in Serie B. So forget about it. So we have to support 3 teams this year. Juve, of course. Then we want to do really well with Frosinone for Sule, for Caio Giorgi, for Barrenechea. Why? Because or they are doing that well that you bring them back to Juve next year, our players, or they increase their value and we can maybe sell Caio Giorgi, Barrenechea. If we don't find a team for Sule, or if we don't find a role in a formation for Sule, maybe we can even cash in for him. I would love to take him back, you know that, next year. So we have to support Frosinone, and we also have now to support Udinese, because more points they are doing, more there is a possibility that in January Udinese already agree with Juve, and that would be fantastic. The rumors are saying that they are not really convinced to continue with Sotil, their trainer. He's really at risk, so if next game is not winning after the 1-1 of yesterday, that's a pity because they were winning until the 85th minute, well, it could probably be changed. So pay attention for that, ragazzi. Samardzic, I want all the comments now in the chat, and then we go towards the second name. Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. It's a name that a few weeks ago, for the people that are always watching the video, you know that I told you forget about it. Forget about it. It will not happen. It's a dream from a lot of people. Why? Because it's quite easy. You're looking at the contract years, and he has a contract until the end of 2026 with a possible extension for another year, so possibly 2027. On top of that, you're looking at the fee that 2 years ago Manchester United paid to Dortmund, and we are speaking about 85 million euro. At the moment, the guy, we don't have the money to sign Jadon Sancho. On the other side, Florian Plettenberg is speaking about news about him. He's planning to restart in the winter and intend to leave Manchester United. So he's not playing at the moment. You know it. Internally, they have some problem. He has some problem with Ten Hag. He really wants to leave. So a move to another European country is more likely than staying in England. Why? Because he wants to play Euro 2024. And if he's not playing a single minute with Manchester United, he can forget about it. Transfer to Barcelona and Dortmund are not realistic according to Florian. Juventus Turin is interested and is considering signing Sancho on loan. It is confirmed. Do I believe in that news? I don't know. I don't know, because I already explained to you, 85 million euros 2 years ago. So what is the price now of Jadon, even if they want to get rid of him? It's still high, eh? It's still around 50 million euro. Under 50, I don't believe that Manchester United will give him for free. So long term, I don't believe it. On the other side, when I'm looking at all the links with Juve Berardi, then I'm thinking maybe Sancho, that is able to play as a left winger, and we have too many players there on the left, but also as a right winger, he can be possibly a reinforcement for Juventus. Maybe for a 6 months loan. 6 months at Juve, then he goes back to Manchester United and they sell him to another team, because we will never be able to sign him. So how can we play? Because that's the other step that I'm looking. Can we play with Samardzic and with Sancho? Going to a 4-3-3, because otherwise in a 3-5-2 there is no spot for Sancho. Forget about it. For Samardzic, yes, not for Sancho. So 4-3-3, can it be possible? Yes. Cambiaso on the left, Wea on the right, ultra offensive fullbacks, something that a lot of people they love. Is Allegri loving that kind of ultra offensive fullbacks? I don't know about that. Danilo, Bremer in defense, then you have a trio in the midfield of Rabiot, Locatelli, Samardzic. Mamma mia, I'm already dreaming. I'm already loving what I'm seeing here. And then on top, Chiesa on the left, Sancho on the right, Vlahovic on top. Fantastic lineup. Fantastic lineup. Of course, you have some problems, because that means that Gatti has no spot there. You could possibly think of Gatti in the two center backs with Danilo as a right back. You have only Alexandro possibly there as a left back, and we know that he's not performing. Or you have to adapt Kostic, who will be on the right. Another option is De Sciglio from January, February on, but I don't know about the state of the player. Will he be healthy or not? In the midfield, McKennie, that is playing, I believe, 7 starts on 9 games this season, will be on the bench. Miretti as well. And then off top, you have no position anymore for Kenan Yildiz. Kenan Yildiz, that already played 3 times many parts of the game, didn't find continuity, didn't find his official debut yet. Well, in a 3-man up front with an Ealing Jr., it will be difficult for Kenan to find position there. Also there on Sancho's side, or you adapt Chiesa on the right, or you will have to adapt Kenan Yildiz, that is a player that loves to start from the left side of the field. So there are some problems, and also because you will have too many strikers, Vlahovic, Milik, Keane. So that 4-3-3 would be, according to me, difficult just to adapt for a player like Sancho. So at the moment, do I like the player? Yes. Do I think that 6 months on loan would be feasible? Yes. On the other side, I don't really see the strategy, and I don't think it's beneficial to go for Sancho. That's my opinion. For Samardzic, all in, 100%. And also because we didn't speak about another player. If we go back to 4-man defense, and you have Rugani, Gatti, Danilo, Bremer, these are already 4 players for 2 spots. Where is Huijsen? There are no spots anymore for Dean Huijsen. A guy that you saw with yesterday on the social media of Juve, has written here Juventus since he's a kid. Probably he was playing a game. Probably he was playing the game, guess the team that I have here. Or maybe he was supporting Juve, or I have no idea. But when he has a kid there, tattooed on his skin, I think it's forever. So I would not sacrifice Dean Huijsen just because Sancho could possibly come and we have to change everything in Juve. On the other side, why are we speaking today about Samardzic? Why are we speaking about Sancho? Something that would have been totally impossible in the last summer, where we did zero mercato except of Wea. First of all, because we were quite sustainable with last mercato, so we saved a bit of money. Then, the ownership is going towards 200 million increase for Juve, that will not all being spent for the mercato, but to give a bit of breath to Juve. And then also because we are obliged to. But then the win of Milan, I told you, would be so crucial, so important, because being at -7 after match day 9 with all the other teams that won could have created some trouble, some negativity, some toxicity, maybe forgetting about that beautiful dream of going towards the higher positions in that top 4. We're speaking about 1, 2, 3 maybe. Well, winning about Milan gives us the certainty that we are a team that can do it until the end. Then we can win or we can lose, but at least competing. And that's why the papers are speaking about Corriere dello Sport. Allegri trasforma la Juve. Allegri is transforming Juve. And you will tell me, Beppe, we are still playing the same way as we played last year and 2 seasons ago. Yes, it's true. But since the Sarri era, Juventus, and it's already 117 match days, we're never anymore on top of Serie A. Saturday, we have the possibility to do it. Never Allegri 2.0 started the season that well. already 20 points out of 9 games. So we see already a transformation for a team that is doing much better in defense, 6 goals conceded, which is still a lot for Juve after match day 9, but 6 clean sheets. It was the 4 goals of Sassuolo that is penalizing us. That's why we see that we don't have the best defense of Serie A. Otherwise we would have been there, best defense already. So we found stability in defense, even with the Danilo that was injured against Milan, even an Alexandro that played only 2 games this season. So you see that stability, that's not bad. Gazzetta dello Sport is telling us La Juve sfida Milano. Juventus is challenging Milan. The both teams of Milan, Inter Milan and AC Milan. And if you're looking at the calendar, match day 10, Juve Verona at home, Inter Roma, Napoli Milan, Juventus can already do something beautiful. Match day 11, Atalanta-Inter, another big game there. A bit more easy for Milan because they are playing against Udinese. And if we want Samardzic, I hope that Udinese can do well against Milan. Not only anymore for Juve going up, but also in terms of Mercato. And then Fiorentina-Juve, which would be a difficult game. By the way, yesterday, Empoli won 2-0 against Fiorentina. Match day 12, that should be on paper an easier game for the 3 teams, Lecce Milan, Juve Cagliari and Inter Frosinone. What is Tutto Sport speaking? Well, Juve Scudetto, Allegri on fire. I don't even need to translate it. Are they exaggerating? Probably yes, a bit, but they are telling us 3 motifs, 3 explanations why we could possibly now already start thinking and dreaming about the possibility to fight for the Scudetto. First, I already told you, the defense. 2, the problems of the other teams. Because don't forget that, even on paper, we were thinking that Milan, Inter, Napoli would already be there with 9 victories on 9, or probably 8 on 9, because there was the derby of Inter Milan, and there was Napoli, Inter. But at the moment, they all lost points in a way. Already 2 losses for Milan. Against Juve, against Inter. And what a loss against Inter, 5-1. Now, Napoli is doing a bit better, but they started in a really difficult way. 1 month without Osimhen. Not sure if Kvaratskhelia will always be able to do doppietta brace. And then the third one, the help of the Mercato. And that's important. That's why it's important in December to be there on top, because the Mercato can give us a boost. And then, yeah, ragazzi, if we are speaking about the Mercato and we go back to the 2 names that we just mentioned, Samardzic and eventually Sancho, then Beppe in January in 2024 maybe we'll start to think, you know what? Scudetto 39, it's maybe not only a mirage, a fantasy. I don't know, maybe I go crazy this morning. Anyway, please put a maximum of like on the video if you liked it. Comment about the names, about the possibility. Did I go crazy? What about that 4-3-3 that I just showed you? And if you didn't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Grazie Juventini. Seriously. Grazie, forza, Juve.